Welcome to this explainer. If you're a brand new employee or maybe just stepping into a super fast-paced role, I am genuinely so excited to have you here today. Look, we're tackling a situation that literally almost everyone faces, but honestly, very few know how to handle gracefully. We're talking about managing a rapidly increasing workload without completely hitting the panic button. It is totally normal to feel the pressure when you're new, but we're going to look at some proven strategies to help you navigate it like an absolute pro.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this scenario for a second. You're already swamped, your inbox is overflowing, and your boss walks over and casually assigns you another quote-unquote urgent project. Oh man, your heart just sinks, right? What do? You want to be this highly responsible team player, especially as a new hire trying to prove yourself, but you also know you are right at your absolute physical limit. It's an incredibly high-stress moment, and your immediate reaction here can actually make all the difference in your career trajectory.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the overload dilemma, why managers assign more work, how not to respond, a really great four-step method, a proactive response scenario, and finally, some key takeaways and de-stressing tips. Let's get right into it.
All right, section 1, the overload dilemma. Imagine you're sitting at your desk, practically drowning in tasks, but your manager hasn't really seemed to notice. The default reaction for so many new employees is either to just suffer in silence or to sort of boil over and vent their frustration. But the true antidote to this dilemma is proactive communication. And what that means is making your workload visible and actually collaborating on realistic solutions. Now, I want to be super clear. The goal here is absolutely not to dodge work or avoid responsibility. Instead, it's about managing the flow of expectations so you can actually deliver high-quality results without burning yourself out in month 2. Moving right along to section 2, why managers assign more.
When the work just keeps piling up, it's incredibly easy to feel targeted or undervalued, like your manager just doesn't care about your well-being at all. But let's reframe that for a second. Why do managers actually keep giving you tasks? Well, it's usually because they value your performance. They're confident in your ability to handle important work, and they're actively trying to develop your potential. And this brilliantly illustrates a crucial paradigm shift for new hires. Receiving more work is very often a direct sign of trust. They're handing you these tasks because they genuinely believe in you. But hold on a second, it's really important to set a clear boundary here. Positive interpretation does not mean unlimited acceptance. Just because your manager's intentions are good and just because they trust you, well, that doesn't mean you can magically create a 25th hour in the day. You still have a professional obligation to consider your actual available time and your ability to deliver quality work. Taking on way too much just to please your boss, that's going to backfire big time when the quality of your work inevitably drops. Section 3, how not to respond. As new employees, fear and this burning desire to impress often drive our reactions, and that leads to 2 major pitfalls. On one hand, we have overpromising. That's cheerfully accepting every single task without ever mentioning your workload. You don't want to disappoint anyone. But this inevitably leads to missed deadlines, sloppy work, and a manager who falsely assumes you have plenty of capacity. On the other hand, we have emotional complaining. This is when you accept the assignment, but with a super frustrated expression, heavy sighing, and airing grievances. This doesn't solve the math problem of your time. It just makes your manager defensive and really strains that working relationship. Have you ever felt the urge to say something like, "Fine, I guess I'll do it. I'm always overloaded anyway, but no one seems to notice"? We've all been there, right? While the frustration behind that statement might be 100% real and valid, responding this way is a total trap. It shifts the entire focus of the conversation away from logically setting priorities, and instead, it just creates unnecessary emotional conflict. Notice how it doesn't even tell the manager what you're actually working on, it just signals that you're unhappy. All right, section 4, the 4-step method. I am so excited to share this next part with you because it is literally a game changer for restoring balance to your workday. When you are assigned a new task and your plate is already full, follow these 4 structured steps. Step 1, clarify priorities. Just ask your manager what is most urgent. Don't try to guess. Step 2, explain your current workload. Calmly make your existing tasks and deadlines visible to them. Step 3, suggest practical options. Offer solutions, like maybe adjusting a deadline on a previous project or providing a rough first draft a little later. And finally, step 4, agree on next steps. Form a shared realistic agreement with your manager on exactly how to proceed. It takes a moment of pure panic and turns it into a moment of professional collaboration. Section 5, the proactive response scenario. Okay, pop quiz time.
Let's move to a practical scenario and see how this actually builds your communication skills. Your manager just assigned you a new task, but you are totally maxed out. Which option do you choose? Option A, cheerfully accepting. Well, as we just learned, that leads to failure because your manager stays blind to your overload. Option B, complaining, just creates friction. What about option C? Explaining and politely rejecting. Actually, scratching that. Rejecting too quickly can seem super uncooperative before you've even explored solutions. And option E, suggesting your manager give your current work to someone else. Yeah, that's usually the manager's decision to make, not yours to dictate right out of the gate. So, the crucial point here is that option D is the absolute best choice. Option D is discuss the new task in your current tasks, clarify the order of priority, and explain that you'll start with the most important work. This option is a total winner because it perfectly combines honesty, responsibility, and problem solving. It clarifies priorities without making dangerous assumptions, and it guarantees that you never overpromise. Let's look at exactly what option D sounds like in practice. You would say, warmly and professionally, before I confirm, may I check the priority with you? Right now, I have project A due by noon and report B due tomorrow. If this new project also needs to be completed today, I can start with the most important item first. Could you help me confirm which one should take priority? Notice how beautifully this works. You aren't saying no. You are letting the manager actually hear and see that you are working hard and doing your absolute best, all while inviting them to help solve the scheduling puzzle with you.
Finally, Section 6, Final Takeaways and De-stressing.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to walk away feeling empowered. Remember these essential guidelines. Do not silently accept everything, do not complain emotionally, and do not reject tasks immediately. The golden rule you should take away from this is to never, ever promise what you cannot realistically complete. Making your workload visible through proactive communication is always, always more professional and much more respected than simply enduring in silence until you finally break. Now, a quick reality check to add here. Even when you communicate perfectly and professionally using the 4-step method, work can still be stressful. And you know what? That is completely normal. You still need to process that pressure using healthy, active outlets. Whether it's practicing relaxation techniques, trying meditation, going for a run, or swimming, just find what works for you. Managing your workload effectively at the office is exactly what gives you the mental space to actually enjoy these de-stressing activities outside of the office. I want to leave you with this final provocative question. The next time your plate is entirely full and your boss walks over with just one more thing, are you going to suffer in silence or will you step up and proactively communicate? I highly encourage you to start applying this 4-step method immediately in your career. Trust me, it will completely transform how you work and how you are perceived as a professional. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.